Hey everyone, welcome back to the Money Level Show, where we think, act, and prosper. This channel focuses on changing financial trajectories and building legacies. I hope that you all are doing well. I'm doing well. Had my 36th birthday yesterday. Celebrated it with some close friends and family. I've been living good, feeling like I'm on top of my game. Been back in the gym, everything. So it's been this year has just been a blessing and living life with intention. So today we're going to get into quite a few things in terms of the crypto markets as well as Bitcoin. There's just been more and more bullish news that just keeps coming out. And so I want to keep you all updated on what's happening. I also want to talk to you about GALA's massive move. I talked about GALA back in December. I think it was actually on Christmas Day. It's December 25th or whatnot. I'll show you the video. I put it out that I was buying this coin, and I want to show you the profits that I made from buying this coin. Some of you naysayers were out there were just like, hey, I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole, to each his own. But I actually made some good money from it. So I'm looking forward to sharing this with you. So I'm going to go ahead and kick the intro. And then when we get back, we're going to get into the topics for today.
Think. Act. And prosper. You are now tuned into the Money Level Show.
All right. We are back. We got quite a few topics we're going to jump into. So the market has been anticipating the Fed cutting rates this year. When the Fed cuts rates, this reduces the amount of interest that companies, corporations, that people, citizens have to pay on their debt. And when that happens, people ultimately have more money. But the higher interest rates are, and as the Fed continues to be selling their debt off their balance sheet, it continues to put pressure on the economy. And so the Fed is looking at changing that pace. So we're going to go ahead and start with a article from Reuters, because Jerome Powell recently just spoke at, I believe it was a congressional hearing, and he talks about where the Fed is with interest rates. All right, so Fed's Powell not far from confidence needed to cut rates. The Fed has been waiting on economic data to continue to improve. For me, I believe inflation is higher than 3%, but this is what they're looking for. And so they're looking to pivot at some point. So March 7th, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said on Thursday the U.S. Central Bank was not far from gaining the confidence it needs in falling inflation to begin cutting interest rates. I know that many people out there feeling the pain of higher interest rates. I've been feeling it, and I'm ready for a break. So if you don't have debt, then you're in a good position. But if you have debt and it impacts your credit scores and all those things, right, you're probably feeling the pain of higher interest rates, and especially if you're in the housing market or you bought a home recently. And so Powell says, I think we're in the right place, Powell said, of the current stance of monetary policy in a hearing before the Senate Banking Committee. We're waiting to become more confident that inflation is moving sustainably down to 2%. When we do get that confidence, and we're not far from it, it will be appropriate to begin to dial back the level of restriction so that we don't drive the economy into recession. Now, it's important to note that if the economy goes into recession, the Fed's going to cut rates anyway, right? But he's saying okay, let's dial it back a little bit quicker before we get some type of recessionary situation so that they can give the economy a breather. So that's what Jerome Powell is saying there. And the comments show Powell's faith that recent higher than expected inflation readings and other strong economic data won't interrupt the ongoing decline in price pressures that took root last year. The Fed chair has been reluctant to declare the inflation battle finished and cautioned in testimony to the Senate panel, as he did Wednesday, before the House Financial Services Committee that further progress back to the Fed's 2% target was not assured. All right, so as we can see, I mean, he's given some indicators that rate cuts are coming soon. The market has priced that in already, a lot of it. But I think that when the Fed does cut rates, you can expect a big, huge move up in a lot of these stocks, cryptos, risk-on assets, things of that nature, unless there's some type of economic, I don't want to say crisis, but some type of economic turmoil that causes the Fed to move ahead of what their plan is currently. So with that being said, this means that I think that Bitcoin is going to go a lot higher. Bitcoin recently hit its all-time highs, which we're going to look at the charts really quick. But the Fed is cutting rates. And then we also have the Bitcoin halving coming up. So Bitcoin halving, it happens every 4 years, where the amount of Bitcoin that is mined is cut in half. And that happens until there's 0 Bitcoin left to be mined. There's a total amount of 21 million. And as the halving continues to happen, the computers and the miners have to get stronger to continue to pretty much solve these math equations to unlock the blocks of data on the blockchain for transactions. So we see that 36 days, so a little over a month, the Bitcoin halving will begin. Now let's go ahead and look at the Bitcoin chart here, so we can see. So Bitcoin moved up significantly recently. We had it's pierced 70,000 multiple times, and yeah, it's pretty much. Let's see, we got to zoom in a little bit, but it pierced 70,000. The high was $70,083. There's different numbers on different platforms for how high it actually went, but it did pierce 70,000, and we haven't even had the halving yet. So when you look at this, when you look at the previous halving, this was in March of 2020. Let's see, we had the big dip right here. That's a COVID dip. And then you had the halving in April of 2020, around here. You had the halving. And it took about, let's see, 6-7 months. I mean, it took a year for Bitcoin to reach its all-time highs last time. So April of 2021, you can see that it reached 64,000, almost 65,000, came down, and then that's when it hit 68,000 on the last high. So it took a year after the halving cycle for this to play out. Now we're seeing that this is the all-time highs are reached before the halving cycle even took place. So here you see that the halving took place, and it took a year for Bitcoin to hit an all-time high, a year and a half for it to hit the second all-time high. Here, the halving hasn't even taken place, and Bitcoin already surpassed the all-time high. If we look at some of the other halvings, we had 2020. The halving before that was I want to say 2016. Every 4 years. So if it was April of 2016, I mean, it took a year and a half before Bitcoin hit all-time highs then. So yeah, I mean, I think that this is very bullish, and I think that what we're seeing now is a result of the big institutions coming in. I mean, you just have billions and billions of dollars that are just flowing into these ETFs to buy Bitcoin. You have multiple ETFs get approved. Blackrock, which is the biggest fund out there, and then you had the ARK ETF. You had Fidelity. I mean, all these huge fund managers, huge funds that have been pouring in billions and billions of dollars into Bitcoin, and this is prior to the halving. So I just think that the price is going to go significantly higher. And I've been trying to give people, a heads up on this. So, I mean, it's up to you if you want to think, act, and prosper. And I'm going to show you how I'm thinking, acting, and prospering now. So we're going to go ahead and jump over to this article. BlackRock Bitcoin ETF nears 200K Bitcoin, passing Michael Saylor's micro strategy. So Michael Saylor was purchasing a lot of Bitcoin under micro strategy, and now you have BlackRock, the biggest fund, coming in, and they have surpassed MicroStrategy, and MicroStrategy has been buying Bitcoin since 2020. So this just shows the magnitude of it. So now they're almost at 200,000 Bitcoin, which is quite a bit. In less than 2 months of existence, the BlackRock iShares Bitcoin ETF has accumulated more Bitcoin than MicroStrategy, and pretty much they have almost 196,000 Bitcoin, while MicroStrategy has 193,000. It's possible that MicroStrategy has added to that total since this week price $100 million raise, but intends to use those funds to purchase more Bitcoin. Since the launch of the spot ETFs on January 11th, BlackRock's IBIT has often added hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin has converted from a closed-end fund. Next in line for IBIT would be Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, which has lost more than 200,000 Bitcoin since the spot products opened for business, but still holds around 400,000 tokens. That's a lot of Bitcoin. I mean, just think about it. One Bitcoin is 70,000, and just do the math, right? Just do the math. So yeah, and other news that just dropped is Bill Ackman, who has mostly steered away from crypto, has changed his mind, billionaire hedge fund. And let's see what he has to say. Pershing Square Capital Management founder and CEO Bill Ackman turned some of his attention to Bitcoin on Saturday afternoon, cheekily suggesting a scenario in which the price for the world's largest crypto could soar far higher than anyone might imagine. Bitcoin price leads to increased mining and greater energy use, driving up the cost of energy, causing inflation to rise and the dollar to decline, driving demand for Bitcoin, and increased mining, driving demand for energy, and the cycle continues. Now, obviously, I'm bullish on energy and commodities too. So these miners have to have commodities to run the electricity that they need to mine Bitcoin. So I think this is bullish for commodities as well. Bitcoin goes to infinity, energy prices skyrocket, and the economy collapses. He continued, maybe I should buy some Bitcoin. The problem, of course, is that it also works in reverse, he later added. So that's what he pretty much posted on Twitter or X. So he may be interested in buying Bitcoin, and Michael Saylor offered to speak with him on the subject. So that's pretty much the new information in terms of Bitcoin, what's happening there. I do want to jump over to GALA because I had given you all a heads up that I was buying this coin. This is the title, GALA to explode higher, gaming interest soaring, crypto bull market. This was on Christmas Day, December 25th, 2023. Now, at this time, GALA was trading at about 3 cents, over 3 cents. I had got in, and there was a significant pullback. We had a sell-off after the Bitcoin ETFs got launched and things. So I just continue to add it to my position. And pretty much, I mean, here we are with GALA now. It's now at 7.5 cents, almost 7.6 cents. And if we look at the charts on the year, right? So you had the lows in October. It was at 1 cent. Started rising up. I got in December, and it was at about 3.5 cents when I got in. We had the sell-off here where I started pretty much accumulated more, and I just kept accumulating, just dollar cost averaging in And then we had a significant move up to over 8 cents. I think today the high was 8.5 cents. So it went from 2 cents and at the lows back in January, late January, to over 8 cents, 8.5 cents today. So as we can see, I couldn't pull up my crypto.com app on here, but as you can see, this was at the time of, oh, sorry about that. This was at the time of earlier today. I pretty much put $548 in, and my average cost is 2.8 cents, and my unrealized profit is $1. I mean, not $1, $1,000, 167, $1,167. So that's a nice chunk of change that I earned or that I made just from buying low and riding the waves. Now, this is important because the all-time high is at 83 cents, and earlier it only traded at about 8.5 cents. So now this could go up significantly more. If the all-time high is at 83 cents, we're still early in this bull market. And I just think that there's a lot more room to run. So I did take a little bit of profit, and eventually I'll take my initial investment off the table and just play with the house money. But that's pretty much how much I made so far, which is pretty good. And I know that some of you may or may not have gotten in. If you've gotten in and held strong, then you would be up on your investment too. I kind of wish I would have thrown more money in it because I did have a stronger conviction, but it just is what it is. You can't get everything, and so, but the price can go a lot higher. So if we're looking at GALA, for example, I mean, if you look at the all chart, the all-time high was 83 cents here back in November of 21. And this little move here, I mean, it's a major move up, but I mean, we're still far off from the all-time highs. And not saying that we're going to hit the all-time highs, but even if we go to 40 cents, I would still be pretty happy. I would be pretty happy with that trade. So still early. It did cool off. It's back down to 7.5 cents. So it's not too late to get in. It may cool off even more. We'll see. But that's pretty much where things stand with that. And yeah, so sometimes I do give out plays, things that I'm doing, and that's what I do. So let's see, Chris Perez. Yo, I did throw $40 at GALA that day. Was like $30 to $37 a while till it hit. Yes. So I'm glad that you were able to make some profits there, even with $40. I think, I mean, my wife, she invested some, and I just think that the price is going to go significantly higher. I mean, we're still early. So I may even buy some more if we get more of a pullback. I may even buy some more. I do have 18,000 tokens. So we'll see. Let me see. We have the Veg Food Lover. Hey, can you please check Gary Network? It's Solana's biggest Web3 project. What's your thoughts on Gary token thinking to buying and burning every week with 200 million users and pumping now? So, yeah, so I am not a crypto expert. I don't study every single project that comes out. I kind of just feed through, like you mentioning this here. If I hear someone else talking about it, I may look into it or whatnot, but I'm also not chasing every single project that's out there. So many, I mean, there's like 13,000 cryptos. It's just, it's no way I'm going to be able to pretty much do that. Let's see. So, I mean, if we're going to look at, it says 2.2 million cryptos on CoinMarketCap. I thought it was like 13,000, but maybe it's more than that, 2.2 million. So there's a lot of projects out there, and I can't chase them all. But appreciate you asking and everything. So I hope that you all are doing well. I got to get going. I got to get to the fam and everything. Hope that you all had a blessed weekend. And I will be back with some more content this week. I've been really just enjoying life and just taking a break. And so I'll have some interviews coming up this week, and as well we will tap back into commodities and seeing what's happening there, because I know some of my audience there strictly commodities and gold. I'm trying to get a profit wherever I can, because gold's at an all-time high, but the gold stocks haven't moved much, silver stocks haven't moved much. But I got to get the money where I can. That's just is what it is. But all right, y'all, be sure to stay safe. Watch out for scams and all that. That's hyping up even more since the cryptos have been moving. And y'all have a blessed day. All right, peace.